Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So as you saw from a couple videos ago, I recently moved. So I used to live in the sort of Gyro Beach, Rotary Beach area. I was like a walks away from those two beaches. I was also like a 5-minute drive from downtown Kelowna, Tugboat Beach, a lot of like the popular photography locations down that way. And I'm now living all the way out in Lake Country. So it's a brand new area to me. I've never lived in this area of the Okanagan. And so trying to find new kind of favorite photography locations is kind of the task. I'm no longer like a walks away from a lot of these beaches. I'm at most like half an hour drive now from all of these previous locations I used to frequent. And so we recently got our first snowfall of the season. You can kind of tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go head out just to walk around this local area that I moved to see what kind of like nature photography photos that I get, just to kind of get me out of the house, get myself exploring again. And I thought I would kind of bring you with me on this first winter excursion. So we live on the edge of one of the lakes in Lake Country, and there's this trail system right behind your house actually, and I've never really gone out really yet behind here to explore, so this is the first excursion out, and so far it's kind of nice. The trail's a little bit slippery in certain areas, but you kind of see these pines every now and then, which I really like, and then you can kind of see the lake right here. We just live on the side of one of the lakes, but yeah, so far it's actually really gorgeous out. I love just the look of the snow on the mountains and then like the dust covering on the trees. It's so beautiful. On this first winter photography excursion in my own backyard, this is one of the first photos that I took, and what I really liked about it was the color contrast. So in the background you have the trees with like the snow covering them, and then in the foreground you have this brown color that's kind of contrasting with the background, and so I just really like the color contrast between the foreground and the background. In this next photo, as I was walking down the path, there was this side path that went down to the lake, and so when I decided to kind of venture down this pathway, it was a really gorgeous view of both the lake and the surroundings. So we live off of the side of one of the really small lakes in Lake Country, and it's really quite cute and gorgeous. So here you have again the background trees with the snow covering them, and then you have the quaint little lake in front of you. This is another photo of the lake just from a different viewpoint, and what I really liked about this one was that there was this tree that had obviously fallen in the water, and a bunch of the branches were sticking out of the water, so I thought it was just kind of an interesting piece to add to the foreground in this photo. Alright, so the setup today and where majority of the photos are being taken on is the 25mm. I also brought my 40-150 with me, and I think what I'm gonna do is right now I'm just kind of following the trail out, and then maybe on my way back I'll switch to the 40-150 because I see quite a bit of birds. So I think I'm going to try and get photos of them on my way back. Of course, I also have gloves on because it is very snowy. It's actually not terribly cold. I'll have to Google what the temperature actually is right now because it's not that cold, but when you're just outside, it can be uncomfortable. So I've got my gloves on. These aren't specifically like photography gloves, but they are the tech gloves with like the fingertips that you can touch like your screen with. But this little top bit right here is a pocket, so you can even put like hand warmers if you wanted inside the gloves, and I've had these for like absolute years. They were a gift from like my uncle for Christmas like years ago, and they've been very handy. And then of course gotta layer up, so I got lots of layers, lots of boots, everything. As I finished up at the lake and I came back up to the main trail, I saw these like footprints in the snow, and I always love taking photos of footprints in the snow because I'm always curious about the animal. Normally, you know, in previous times when I've been at the beach, they're normally a bird footprints, but on this day I don't really know what animal it is. I'm gonna say it's like a deer, just based off of the shape and that it doesn't look like a dog or anything like that, so I'm gonna assume a deer footprint. But I just really like taking like photos of footprints in the snow. While I'm also out doing nature and landscape photography, I always like trying to get those like detail shots of my surroundings. So like I said earlier in the video, the lake kind of had these pine trees lining it every now and then. And then on this one, there was a bunch of snow on one of the branches of the pines. And so I decided to, stop, get a detail shot, just kind of further emphasizing the whole winter photography that I was doing. And then in these photos that you'll see here, again, it's just a lot of the color contrast of the green trees with the snow covering it, and then the brown in the foreground. And you can see here another very similar color contrast, but I actually added an additional layer with the further mountains in the background. So I really love this mountain range that's right beside us because I just think I like the pattern of the trees. That's what it is with winter and the snow, is that it coats everything with like such a beautiful pattern. And so I stopped to kind of get a photo again with these layers of the mountain in the back, and then you have the trees, the green trees in the middle, and then the brown bushes in the foreground. As I said also in the video, I did end up switching my lens to the 40 to 150 so I can kind of get a couple shots of the birds that were in the nearby trees. And on my way back, I really only saw a handful of birds, and this is just one of them that I was able to get a photo of. As I got closer to the house and kind of closer back to where I had started, I decided that I wanted to switch gears and kind of get more of those intimate detail shots of the mountain range that I really loved. So in this one, I think we were pretty much all the way zoomed in at almost 150, and I just really liked the pattern of the mountain with the trees and the rock formation in the middle. And then same thing here, again, the pattern of the trees, the line that the mountain had created. And I've been finding that ever since we have entered winter, we are experiencing a lot more atmospheric conditions, as they call it, where basically you have a lot of low-lying fog on these mountain tops. And so I really enjoy it, and you can kind of see it right here. Then this is the last photo that I actually took on this local excursion of winter photography. The lake that, again, we've kind of been like talking about in this whole video, at one part of the lake there was this like stump poking out of the water, and it had a bunch of snow on it, and then you can see the snow in the background. And I just thought it was kind of just like an intimate detail shot of like the surrounding and what was happening. And so I just decided to get a photo of this beautiful stump with some snow on top of it. So thank you for watching today's short video. Let me know in the comments if it snows where you live and what winter is like for you. Stay safe, friends, and I'll see you in the next video.